Happy Friday, Brian Manning here with the weekly update. Let's get right to it. Monday this week, relatively quiet news day leading into hot economic data that was going to come out this week as far as employment reports are concerned. Tuesday this week, we had some Fed speak. So we got the Atlanta Fed that cut their estimates for GDP. What's crazy is they had just cut it a week ago and then they cut it again. So they're starting to see a reduction in the forecasted GDP, which is clearly starting to show weakness in the U.S. economy. Then Wednesday this week, and I can't believe it's another month, first Wednesday of the month, we get employment reports. So the first Wednesday of every month, we get ADP. ADP had an expectation of 160,000 new jobs being created in the month of June, and we got 150,000. So a pretty close report there. What's interesting though is if you look at ADP, ADP shows that small businesses only added 5,000 jobs in the month of June. It was really leisure and hospitality which were really leading the path as far as new hires were concerned. We also had unemployment claims. Unemployment claims, this is new people filing for unemployment, was up 4,000. And then we look at continuing claims. So continuing claims are people that are on unemployment and continuing to file employment claims going forward. This was up 26,000 people. This is the highest number since November of 2021. Yesterday, markets were closed. Hope everybody had an amazing 4th of July. And then today we had the BLS report. So let's look at some info here on the BLS. So BLS is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We get this report the first Friday of every month. This is really the most market moving report as far as employment is concerned. ADP is looked at, but BLS moves everything. So this is for the month of June. We had expectations of 200,000 jobs being created. We had 206,000 jobs that were created. So a little bit better than what was expected, but what still blows me away in every report is going to be the revisions. So if we look at the last 2 months, we had 111,000 negative revisions. So if we look at the month of May, May's employment report was revised from 272,000 jobs down to 218,000. And if we look at April, April was revised from 175 to 165 and then 165 to 108. What kills me is it's the first number that comes out that's the most market moving. And when you look at the revisions are not really current data. So the revisions don't have the same impact on the market as far as interest rates would be concerned, whereas if they just came out with the accurate data the first time. So as you could imagine, if we had 111,000 lesser jobs than we really had reported in the months of April and May, this would have had more of a positive impact on interest rates, right? So these updates are done twice. So we had 2 updates already done for April. I'm curious to see what the second revision is for May. And likely we're going to have revisions going forward in the month of June. So unfortunately, it's not the most accurate info. Then we look at small businesses. So the BLS report says in the month of June, we had 59,000 jobs that were created through small businesses, but ADP says only 5,000. So somehow we have a discrepancy here as far as hiring in small businesses when you look at the 2 reports. Then we look at the household surveys. So the first numbers that we looked at here was a lot of modeling. It's called the birth-death modeling. So it's looking at companies that open and companies that close. It's a lot of modeling trying to figure out the employment data. Then we look at the household survey. So this is phone calls or text to households across the country. This showed we had 116,000 jobs that were created, but really the most important item we're looking at here is the unemployment rate. So the unemployment rate moved from 4% up to 4.1. We talked about this. This is the highest number since 2021. We truly think that the trigger and the golden ticket for a Federal Reserve rate cut is going to be unemployment. Inflation moving slower is just, inflation moving lower is just a slow process right now. So I truly think that unemployment is going to be the number. In fact, if you looked at the Fed members, I think it was like 17 out of 19 Fed members said they never anticipate unemployment going above 4.1%. So if this goes from 4.1 to 4.2, and we are moving higher, this is going to be a shock to Fed members, and this will likely be the golden ticket for rate cuts. Another item to look at is just in the structure of the employment across the U.S. economy. If we look at the month of June, full-time employees were down 28,000 people, but part-time was up 50,000. So this is showing us that the full-time employment is not there. So you're starting to see more and more people taking part-time jobs. In fact, if we look at Q2, in total, Q2, full-time people were down 296,000 jobs, but part-time work was up 336,000. So still showing cracks in the labor market and weakness in the U.S. economy because we're seeing less full-time jobs available and more people moving to part-time. Now, what's really interesting is we have triggered now what's called the Sham rule. So Sham rule shows us recession indicators. So this says, okay, what is the unemployment number at right now? We're at 4.1%. Anytime this unemployment number is a 0.5% higher than the low, for 3 months in a row, then that typically means that we are actually in a recession. The thing about a recession is that recessions are called after they've already taken place. They never are called while you're in one. If we look at this report, it goes all the way back to the 50s. Every single time we've hit this average of 3 months average, which is 0.5% higher than the last 12 months of an unemployment low. Every single time we had a recession, except for once in here, we had a delay in the recession and it came 6 months later. So triggering the Sham rules certainly is going to let us probably feel like inflationary pressures right now. It's going to be interesting to see at some point in time if it actually gets called as an actual recession. I'm around all weekend. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a great day.